Captain's Log Supplemental.
So, Miss Vicky.
Yes, sir.
Do you remember when we were watching those WRL events and some of those grid life events where you used to see the in-car video and it had like the cameras seeing front and back, but it also could see all the telemetry and everything that was going on?
Mm-hmm.
You know, most of the ones that we liked were taken by the Sentinel system. Remember James came on our podcast earlier?
Right.
You know, we have no excuse since he lent us one for trial and demonstration purposes. We should actually probably put that in one of our cars, maybe two.
I really think we should.
I think we should.
I know.
Because then we'd look like the immature endurance racing team that we are. Oh, wait, I mispronounced that, didn't I? Sorry, my bad. We could
So what does the
have
Sentinel system do?
we could have 3 cameras with picture-in-picture. We could have, if we ever get the AIM system to work, open invitation to anybody from AIM to come on and give us a little bit of love. We need some help. And then we could have all our telemetry on there. And then we can have it streamed live into the paddock or around the world to our millions of fans. We're apparently very popular in Kenya right now. Don't know why, but that's fine. And it can integrate all the available race statistics from like Race Hero and everything. So we could actually see how we're doing on video. We wouldn't even have to carry around our phone anymore. Live.
I love it.
Miss Vicky, guess who's here?
We have Ben Dawson.
We do.
Ben Dawson.
Never fear, I'm here.
Fresh off his latest victory at Lucky Dog.
It's true. I had to come run with you guys just to prove the brand. Like, yes, this guy does dominate.
I deserve the swag. Let me have more. Yes.
That's funny.
No worries. Mr. Dawson, we were
Yes.
playing on the interwebs with the emails, and you had a topic that you'd proposed to me that we had never discussed even a little bit. Which
Is that right?
I don't think we have. Going into several hundred of these bad boys. It's not that the pickings are slim. It's just sometimes you come at what seems like the same topic with a different approach, and sometimes we ask better questions because we're a little better than when we first started working with you. And we actually know how to ask a good question. It doesn't happen often, but sometimes we ask a good question. So we were talking about using curbs versus not using curbs. I always have in my mind, before we let you answer your own segment, I always think of curbs as 2 different varieties of curbs. There is the curb that I go over when the car is weighted on those tires, and then there's the curb that I go over when the car is relatively unweighted on those tires, and I deal with them separately, differently. But
gotcha. So maybe like inside and outside.
Exactly.
Okay.
So, what's your feeling on Curb the Enthusiasm? Do you like it more than Seinfeld? Is it a different kind of curb? Sorry.
I'm extremely enthusiastic about curbs and using them to straighten out my line, using them to help me rotate the car, using them to help me be at an angle to get back to the gas center. So many reasons to love hitting curbs, and not every car that we're going to encounter out there loves hitting curbs.
Not every
there are
curb.
plenty. Well, that's true, and not every curb makes geometrical sense or sense from a physics standpoint to be near it. Sometimes you can tell a track built a certain layout a certain way, expecting racers to go that way, but the flow just didn't really quite turn out that way. Like the inside curve at Hogpen at VIR, like the very last turn on the front stretch. Like, to me, I'm tracking out way left, all the way so far left that my left wheels are riding the outside curve. But I never need to touch that inside curve because I'm already on a big sweeping arc. That doesn't have anything to do with that inside curve. So that's an example of a curve that I don't need. So there, you don't have to hit every curve, but curbs that can assist you in, like I said, cutting distance, straightening your line, getting the car rotated. They're all good stuff for me.
I believe one of your new favorite curbs might be turn 14 at Pit Race. You seem to. You seem to like using it and like using it a lot and like using a lot of it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure next time I go back, I'll be using even more of it. I mean, that's an example of a curve that's pretty much just an extra lane.
Yeah.
These extremely kind of green exits out of turn 3 and Oak Tree at VIR, they're kind of past the curb. that's a different kind of curb. That's a whole like just a bonus lane of like you can really hit it extra hard, jump the wake of the real curb, and land into the green zone. But it's the thing that got this going through my head was just maybe I was watching a video of somebody driving or me driving or something like that, and just using the curbs in my head. Because there have been times where I raced a front wheel drive car. Front wheel drive cars are not always as happy on the curbs as rear wheel drive cars can be. And this was one where they're like, hey, we're worried about our whatever it was. We're worried about this or that. So let's stay off the curbs and just be extra gentle with the car. So sometimes there are reasons to avoid the curbs for mechanical or car specific things. If you're driving a car that's got like, aero that's super low, it may not like the curbs. It may the curbs may genuinely upset that. But a lot of times the fuddy duddies will be like, oh, why do you hit the curb so much? Why are you all over the curbs all the time? Because I think some people might think it's just like I try to use like I'm a person who hits the curbs as a personality trait, but that's not it. I'm not just doing it for fun or like to be doing something different. I do it. I think it's important to use the curbs as part of your lap, especially in the kind of cars that most of us are driving and racing, which are production-based cars that aren't built to rotate. So they need a little help kicking it around. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
for sure.
If you got a car with a ton of downforce that's built from the ground up to rotate around a track, it's probably not going to need that kind of remediation and help. But for almost everything else, like the stuff we're endurance racing and sprint racing, unless you fully optimized it and engineered that thing, you're probably going to need to do a little on the track engineering to help that thing, help it rotate, help it go where you want it to go. And there are certainly times where you can use a curb and allow you to carry more speed or allow you to lose less speed. You know what I mean? Rather than trying to get turned exactly around that curve, you're just going to shoot right through it. A lot of times you can do it faster than if you're trying to specifically avoid it.
Miss Vicky, do you use curbs?
I do.
Good.
Are
I
they
do.
are they a main course? Or are they dessert or entree or
I
Accidental?
appetizer?
if I can use a curb, I'll use a curb. If there is
Nice.
one there.
How do you choose whether you can use a curb or not?
Well, I remember at one particular race that if you hook it just right, you can kind of use the inside part of the curb, um,
You're in the octopus at
to
NJMP,
grip,
right?
yep, to grip the wheel. So there's that. Um, yeah, just like little nuances, you know.
Okay.
I've just learned to use them.
Yeah. So Ben, one of the things that we didn't talk about yet, uh, curbs can be painted or unpainted,
Yeah.
and sometimes a wet paint is not ideal,
Or
or it can be ideal.
you can use the wet painted curb to help you rotate your car in the rain.
Yes, you can. But you have to be careful to not use too much of that rotation
That's
and
right.
go, wee.
You gotta be judicious. In the rain, as far as curbs or anything, you got to be judicious and kind of feel your way around and be ready to kind of fight for a varying level of grip every lap. Every time you see that corner, it's likely to be different.
Yep.
So that's just another kind of thing you can add to your toolbox. You might find that your car likes to avoid the curbs, or if you can't get if you're plowing and can't get the thing to rotate, you might want to throw a little taste of that curb in there and see if that can help swing your car around the corner, because it might go from tight to loose pretty quick.
Yep.
Loose as you want it.
Or loose, which might not be what you want.
That's true. You got to feel your way into that.
Yeah. So I don't think we talked about it yet. There are certain geometries or topographies of curbs. Sometimes they're smooth surfaced, sometimes they're like rippled or ridged, sometimes they are very high from the track surface, sometimes they are very low relative to track surface. Those are never fun.
Sometimes they're gradual or graduated.
Yeah. And sometimes there'll be like several layers. Like you can use the first one, but don't use the second one.
Right.
And then definitely don't go over the second one into the grass, because then you will be dragging the middle of your car on the curb. So these are all different factors for whether or not you use that or how to use it best.
Yeah, and I mean there you just said it like we talked about with trying to use painted curbs in their rain as a potential. Just like everything else, you got to kind of feel around and feel your way, just to feel it out. Go out there and see, is this curb going to help me or is it going to slow me down? An example of that would be there are a couple of curbs at CMP that will absolutely just knock your junk in the dirt. You know, they seem like geographically or geometrically, it seems like, oh yeah, I want to be all the way out here on the exit. But I'm talking about, I'm pretty sure I'm talking about the exit of the carousel and
Mhm.
the exit of the last turn onto the front straightaway. Those curbs look like they make great sense and look like a great place to put your car. But as soon as you get out there, so rough, you're like, blah, 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 it upsets the car and you can't really accelerate on them. So that's an example of curves that look like they'd be great to get on. The first time you get out there, like, oh, this sucks. I'm not coming out here again.
Yeah, and sometimes it just takes a little bit of trial and error, and
Yeah,
don't take the full bite on the trial. Let's work your way up a little bit gradually, because uh, when you find out that the curb isn't what you want to be using, or that much curb isn't what you're going to be using, sometimes you find out very dramatically, and perhaps you should
yeah,
avoid this.
yeah. I mean, that's what practice and DEs are for. And that's a great time to really stretch your legs and feel things out, where you're not already under the pressure and the crush of competition. And you can approach something like that, instead of hitting it at what you hope to be your full race pace, but hit it at a smaller percentage of your full pace, and just kind of see how that does, and then kind of work up to it. Feel
And
it out, work up to it.
track walks, sometimes you can see, like, why is this curb? It doesn't feel good. And then you look at the curb and you're like, oh, I see why I don't want to be on this thing. This is not made to do anything but shred my tires.
Right, right. Well, in my fantasy conversation that I had in my head, the funny daddy's saying, "Hey, why do you hit the curb so much? It really upsets the car." And I'm saying, "Yes, that's why I hit the curb so much." But are there dangers to hitting the curbs? What are some pitfalls to hitting the curbs? What do you need to watch out for?
Well, to me, this kind of goes into the inside curb versus the outside curb that I started with, and
Mm-hmm.
the amount of weight transfer I have towards the pair of wheels, inside versus outside, always either heightens or desensitizes the effect the curb will have. Like, I can deal with a nasty curb if it's on the inside, but if it's on the outside, that's when I'm loaded up and weighted. I really, that's going to be a much more considered decision, and
Right.
potentially more
Yeah.
painful if I decide wrong, or if God forbid I miss. Which
I haven't ever thought about it like that. I thought you were going to be saying that you were more trepidatious about nailing an inside curb.
because I don't
Huh.
have the weight there.
Right. Right.
It's kind of lessens the impact, and not
Yeah.
using impact in a bad way, but
Yep.
it lessens the impact of the curb itself on the car trajectory and car handling. So
Yeah. I got you. In my mind, the inside curb is the bat, and the outside curb is the catcher's mitt.
can be, yeah.
Not all the time, but a lot of times I'm using the inside curve to rotate and project me out to the exit I want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, definitely can see that. The thing that I always think about is the amount of weight transferred will affect the amount of grip potential offered, and sometimes taken away. So, like, if you have a really nasty exit curb, you may want to stay just inside of it, or you
When you
may.
think of a nasty exit curve, have you got an example in your mind?
Uh,
Well, I mean, like the one that talked about at CMP for sure. You would definitely
yeah,
wouldn't want to fumble your way out there at full chat and not
yeah.
be ready for
There's some that make cobblestone roads seem very smooth.
it. Okay.
Like they're
Yeah.
kind of it's almost like a segmented, looks like angled bricks, and you kind of
Yeah.
jump, 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 which
Yeah.
doesn't make
Okay.
anything good.
Yeah.
I want to have, if I'm driving well and I'm using all the track that I wish to have, I don't want to induce instability on my exit, because I'm already there.
Yeah.
If I go
So I
if I go more, you know, that's generically going to go less than optimal.
Yeah, that's funny. I don't ever even think in terms about that as far as using the curb, because if I'm ready to fight, I'm ready to fight on the way out.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm
You're
hoping I
ready
do
to fight.
something.
You're
I'm
ready to
hoping I
fight
do
on the
something to
way
put.
out.
Yeah, I'm hoping. I mean, fight the wheel. I'm ready to fight the wheel and fight whatever violence I just invoked on the car with whatever that crazy shit I did at the apex. I'm
Mhm.
always assuming I'm going to have to catch hell on the way out. You know what I mean? I'm ready. I'm prepared to catch hell on the way out, and I'm ready for the fight. If you see me make a nice smooth exit, it's probably because I didn't try hard enough at the apex, or I'm just taking it easy. Not
Well, it
every
could be.
time. You shouldn't be
Yeah.
fighting every time. But I'm never worried about my exit because every exit I'm ready. I'm in watch out mode. You know, I may not have to fight it this time, but I'm ready to fight it every time.
I think
So
that's
I guess that's why I hadn't thought about it that way.
that's part of the difference. Well, there's lots of differences between my driving and your driving, which we almost got to see if we ever got in the same car. I tend to approach things from the bottom up, and you tend to say, "Hey, if I go past it, I'll just figure it out."
Well, yeah, I'm always asking the car for more than I know I can have.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always coming into a corner. Like I know I want this much. The car can give me this much, but I'm still going to ask for this much and then fight my way through for what I can glean at the exit.
What about you, Miss Vicky? Where are you at?
Usually right now I'm just holding on.
It's okay.
Sometimes I'm just driving and I'm holding on. That's not usually the best approach, but
Sometimes.
yeah, but I do, I do use the curbs when I can. I do use the sticky spots when I can,
Yeah.
especially at New Jersey, because I'm very familiar with it. I know where they are. Well, I did until they changed the track a little bit.
Seems like they're changing it again this winter.
Yeah,
So
but to have those, to identify where they're at and, all the grip, all the curb, if you can use the curb if it's necessary. But
mhm.
yeah, that's where I'm at with it.
I so thinking about it a little more, and again, the difference between Ben and I don't like when I'm at the exit of a corner, and do you ever like walk a tightrope or walk a curb or balance beam
Yeah.
or whatever, and you get that feeling and you just start tilting a little bit and you're kind of fighting it and you know you're just going to fall. I mean, there's nothing you can do about it. That's the feeling I don't want to have at the exit.
Have you had that feeling a lot?
No, because I never go off. So I think that's part of my problem. I think that is a large percentage, not the 100%, but a large percentage of the predicted difference between Ben and I is that I don't go off and Ben fights not to go off.
Right.
That's
Maybe
true.
maybe so. Yeah, I'm kind of trying to drive on a little bit of an upset condition all the time,
Mm-hmm.
which always starts with me asking for more than I can get it from the car. But when I asked about the pitfalls of curb driving, we kind of went into your heart of darkness land, Bill. We didn't cover the practice.
What do you heart of darkness? It's a little
midnight
harsh.
of
A little harsh.
midnight of the soul there with Bill at the corner exits. But that wasn't what I was fishing for. So I'm going to hit you with a Bill instance where I'm going to tell you, all right, here the real answer is this.
Oh, very nice. The correct answer is what is the correct answer?
The correct answer is this, Bill. There's something to watch out for after I've given this big pep talk about using the curb to help you achieve all of your racing dreams. Is you need to be aware of what's on the other side of that curb. Sometimes there's a big drop off on the far side of the curb. So use the curb and the curb only, because on the far side of that curb, on the other side of the curb, the exit or the very inside, maybe a big severe drop that's going to hurt your car or wreck you. Also, the beginning and the end of the curb. A lot of times there's a big hole there, so you don't want to start from the grass onto a curb or be there when the curb ends and drops off. Because those are places that will also jack your car up. So only use just the curb. If you're not sure you're going to make it or not, back it down and don't go over the either end of the curb or over the other side.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And another excellent thing that you can look at when you're doing a track walk is sometimes those where was it? I think it was Mid Ohio. I finally figured out why the car felt so bad when I went to the long side of the curb, and there was a hole there that you could easily almost get to your axle. And I'm just like, well, that explains an awful lot, because I was like half a tire off. So I had half a tire in that and a half a tire that wasn't. And I'm like, it just doesn't feel good. And it would have felt a whole lot worse if I was a little bit more. Boom. But yeah. So
that feels terrible.
Yeah, give Miss Vicky more to work on. So it's fine. She's good. She's good. She's all right. So Ben, firmly a curb supporter.
Yes, if it wasn't such a horrible crime, because I've caught myself saying, "Oh, I'm out here stomping all over the curbs," just like talking about trotting on the curbs. But yes, I'm a curb stomper, but not the kind of mafia crime. More like just hopping over the curbs happily.
That's fine. So it's more of a misdemeanor kind of curb bumper. Okay.
Please, yes, yes, yeah, and it's not for everybody. There are plenty of people who are as fast as me or faster who have less entanglements with the curbs. It's just one of the crutches that I use to help me not have to bleed off as much speed and help me get the car whipped around while hold up more pace.
Well, it's potentially more track.
Yep,
And,
it's all track.
If it's there, part of our job as a racer is to try to find mostest fastest, and that may or may not, for every corner, may or may not involve the curb. Usually it will. I would say usually, not always, but usually.
Yeah.
All right.
I agree. I appreciate everybody listening to my pep talk about curbs. I mean, it's more of a pet project of mine than everybody else's.
I think we should probably curb this episode right here.
Let's curb it.
Dad joke taken care of. Thank you very much. Thanks, Ben.
Thank you, Ben.
From the great halls of their house, there are assembled three who hope to one day be the world's greatest driving heroes. Created from the cosmic legends of the universe comes our team captain, the Vision, Bill Fisher. Their soon-to-be Wonder Woman, Vicky Fisher. Our Captain Marvel and head flight trainee, Jennifer Skripchuk. And our Batman, the master of tools, gadgets, and all things mechanical, our mild-mannered soon-to-be billionaire, Alan Danvers. Their mission, to fight injustice, share what is right and wrong, to get you out of your house and come out racing with them, and serve all mankind. They are the Garage Heroes in Training Team. Dominating with Dawson.